everyone, it's Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have a no-line coloring video to share with you featuring Copic markers and colored pencils, as well as new products from Simon Says Stamp's latest release, which is Mothers, Fathers, and Florals. This card features those florals very beautifully and also the Mother's Day theme. I'm going to be using the Best Mom Ever stamp set from Simon Says Stamp to first start off my stamping. You can see I've already stamped one of the roses from that set in some Hollyhock ink from Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to stamp a couple of other of the smaller roses on either side of that large one, and you'll notice that I added a mask that I created from some Post-it tape to cover up that big rose, so that way we get some layered effects. So these roses that I just stamped are going to look like they're behind the largest rose. Now I need to stamp some leaves, so I created another mask from some Post-it tape, and this time I'm stamping some of the bigger branches of these leaves behind my roses. I'm going to be creating a floral arrangement here with these flowers and leaves, so this is going to help me achieve that layered look with the masking and stamping I'm doing here. I used Lake Shores for that blue color for the branch. I just thought that would be a nice different color other than green. Now I am going to bring in some greens. I'm using Jelly Bean for the largest of the other type of leaf that's included in this set. And then the smaller leaf I'm going to stamp down with some fern ink in a couple seconds. You'll notice that as I do my stamping, I'm reapplying that mask for the smallest leaf to either of the rows that I'm doing some stamping behind. You could definitely go ahead and stamp a second mask, but I just went ahead and used that one that I had created. I felt that that would be just as easy. Okay, so now it's time to take off all the masks and do a little bit of extra stamping with some of the small dotted images that are included in that Best Mom stamp set. I'm using two of the newest ink colors from Simon Says Stamp. This is from their newest collection of mini ink cubes, and I just love this purple and orange color combo together. It looks really beautiful and went really nicely with these florals in my card. So now it's time to work on the coloring. I'm going to start off by first doing some layering of color with my Copic markers. So I'm taking my Copic markers and I'm adding shading to certain areas of each of these images and focusing more on getting the base underlayers of shading done because I'm going to add the detail layer with my colored pencils. I have all of the colors that I used over at my blog, so you can go ahead and check those out and be able to match up the colors that I used for any of these images over there. You can see I focused all the shading on the areas where the petals went into the next petal. So where the petals were layered together, that was going to be a lot more darker. So I wanted to make sure I focused that darker coloring around those areas. For these larger leaves, I used some of these blue colored Copic markers to go ahead and shade those in. Now you'll notice that the stems on those leaves actually are blue as well. I'll end up going over top of those with my colored pencils, so that way they have a more realistic look instead of having a blue stem. Here I went in with another layer of color for my roses. This is going to intensify that shading a little bit more. And once I added in that shading of that darkest color, I actually blended it back out with the mid-tone color that I used and then went back over top of the entire flower with my lightest color. And that just helps soften that darkest color that we added there into the areas of those petals. So the Copic coloring did take quite a bit of time, and then even the pencil coloring took quite a bit of time as well. So I really sped this up and I cut different pieces out that were repetitive just because I didn't want this video to be too long. I'm hoping you get the gist of the idea here as I'm doing these coloring. You can see here right now I'm adding those detail layers with the colored pencils. Now the best way I find to do these detail layers is to make sure I have a nice sharp pencil that's going to allow me to get the really fine, delicate look that the Copic markers can't do as easily. As I'm adding in my shading, I'm trying to match up the colors that I used for the detail layer with my colored pencils with the colors that I used underneath in the Copic markers. This is actually really easy to do, and I'm using the largest set of Prismacolor colored pencils, the 150 set. Now also I'll mention while I'm doing this coloring that I've had some questions about the bag that I used to store my colored pencils. This is a really great pencil bag that I'll have a link to in the video description and also on my blog. It holds all of the 150 colored pencils from the Prismacolor set, and there's even enough room to add 10 more pencils in the bag as well, so you could put other things or duplicates of pencils or whatever you need to. But I find that bag is super handy. So now I'm going ahead and working on creating a matching envelope. I'm going to be doing that by using both the Best Mom Ever stamp set and also the new Sending Flowers stamp set. The Sending Flowers stamp set is perfect for decorating your envelopes and creating some really beautiful coordinating effects. I really love this frame stamp with the little address lines. And I even stamped one of the little mini sentiments that's included in the set. And this one says, Happy Mail 4 with a colon. And then that allows you to write then the address of the person that you're sending this to underneath. Really, really fun. I just love this set. Now I'm going to do a bit more masking here. I'm not going to show you the coloring. I just want to show you how I created the layering look of the stamped images and how I masked them off. This was really easy to do, very quick and simple, and with the help of those masks that I used on my card, I was able to create an envelope that matched really well with my card. It just makes it a bit more extra special, especially since this is going to be a Mother's Day card. So again, I used all the same ink colors that I used on the card that you see there on the right, and I'm just basically layering these around to go ahead and stamp the scene in the background. I also masked off that little envelope addressing area, and you'll see here as I remove the mask how you get that beautiful, clean, crisp look around the envelope addressed area, and then you can go ahead and mail this card and you won't have any trouble sending it. I also wanted to make the front flap of the envelope a little bit dressed up too, so I'm taking this little circle sentiment which is included in the Best Mom Ever stamp set, and this actually does say Best Mom Ever. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on the front of the envelope with some of that same hollyhock ink that I used for stamping the roses, and then I'll go ahead and press that down in my mini MISTI tool. I think this just really dresses up the flap a little bit, and since this card is for Mother's Day, I think doing the little bit of extra work to be able to decorate this envelope and make it match the card, it just makes it a little bit more special for Mom. So I'm going to go ahead and add some embellishment details after layering that panel onto a card. I used Nouveau Crystal Jewel Drops, and I used both the orange and the purple color. These are translucent colors, so it allows the color that I used underneath to show through, but it intensifies the look really beautifully and adds a little bit of dimension. So here's a close-up look at the coloring and also how I added in the little sentiment strip and layered it up onto a simple note card. This was so much fun to create, and these two stamp sets that I used today paired up perfectly to create a really beautiful card. Here's also a close-up look at that envelope, and I just really love how this card came together. So I hope this card has inspired you to use some of the new products that are included in the Simon Says Stamp new release, as well as doing some no-line coloring of your own. If you enjoyed this video, here are a couple more videos you might like that feature both Copic markers or colored pencils. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!